Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of AutoCraft Season 4. Well, actually, this is my last episode of AutoCraft Season 4. Before we dive into the video, I just wanted to take a moment to apologize for my absence. It's been quite a while since I've uploaded, and I'm truly sorry about that. I had some things happen after posting my last episode that impacted my mental health, and to take care of myself, I needed to take a break for a while. I had another video ready to post prior to this one that dove more into the arson storyline I created, but it didn't mesh with how I saw myself ending the season. Maybe I can revisit that storyline in the future, but it just didn't make sense with my current headspace. During my absence, I reflected a lot on my experiences thus far and reminded myself that I'm still incredibly new to this process, having only started creating content in November of last year and videos in January of this year. I took some time to remind myself that I love making content, and if you vibe with it and are excited by it, that's an extra bonus for me. Also during this time, I fleshed out how I wanted my area to feel. Having only joined a few months ago, there really wasn't a lot of time to do a mega base that you might see from some of my friends. And seriously, you need to go check out some of my friends' builds. They are incredible. So I opted for creating a cozy feel to my base that hopefully invites you in. That was my goal anyways. Anyhow, without further ado, let's get on to the tour. Hey everybody, super excited to start this tour of my base area. I wanted to go ahead and start in my nether portal just so that we could give ourselves the best start to viewing our area. So if we come down this way, I had some plans. If you remember at the end of this tunnel, it was sort of unfinished. I had some plans to make the ending look more like how I have the tunnel constructed, but I ended up, just for time and needing to get this final episode out, just putting my portal at the end. You know what? I think this tour calls for something a little more aesthetic. Ah, there we go. And looking up, ta-da! I have so many things that I worked on this little island that I'm super excited to show you. And of course, my dog's here greeting me as I'm coming out of the nether portal, which I absolutely love. So we'll start behind me, and one of the things that I wanted to make a priority, as I said earlier, I wanted this place to feel very inviting to you. Like I mentioned, joining so late, I didn't really have a lot of time to create something extravagant in terms of a base. And so I wanted my area to feel very inviting to you, and I wanted this space to welcome you in. So one of the first things that I did in this area was actually change the terrain. If you remember, this was all like stony, wintry beach land that I converted into grass and converted into dirt and things like that. That made it a little more naturally organic. I didn't like the stone here. I sort of, if I was living in this little wintry area, I wanted my space to feel super inviting and welcoming, and the stone just did not vibe with that. So I removed all the stone and put in dirt and grass and sort of made everything flow a little bit better. I'm going to start in this direction and sort of talk about some of the things that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. So the first thing I did following the biome adjustment up top was create a little custom beach on this side of our island, which I think turned out really great. I used a mixture of sand and sandstone and mangrove root and just made it look a little more beachy, a little more rocky. And I think it sort of contributes to the isolated feel of this island. I think it turned out really nice. It took a really long time to do, but I'm very proud of it, of how it looks, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. Next, if we look across the waterway, there's a little structure that designates where my mine starts. It's nothing too fancy, so I'm not going to go over there and show it off. I just continued the dark oak stairs and deep slate ceiling that I was working on just to finish going all the way down. But it's nothing too crazy, nothing extravagant. The next thing, after creating this beach and creating sort of the change within the biome, I felt like there needed to be some structures added to this area. And so I set to work on building a wonderful barn slash farm area and this great windmill. So I'm going to do a little time lapse of those two real quick, and we'll be right back. All right, let's take a look a little closer. I have named this the yard. I think it turned out so nice. I decided to continue with the aesthetic that I had built my house in. So a lot of dark oak, a lot of deep slate, and then the prismarine and warped wood for the roof. I think it looks really good and really matches the style of the house. So let's start on the outside. Over here, I've just got a little tree slash bush area. I found this beautiful, adorable little Arctic fox over in the forest that direction, and I couldn't leave him there. And so I brought him over. I didn't have enough name tags to name him. Maybe before I release this episode, I'll be able to find a name tag and get that taken care of. But for now, he is Mr. Arctic Fox, no name. And then I created this sort of working well. It's supposed to give you the idea that like there's this pulley system here that will go down and sort of get a lot of materials that the farm might need to pull up. All right, continuing this way, we have the barn itself. Got some cool striping that matches sort of what's going on over at the house. I've got some pigs, I've got some cows, I've got some sheep. I did have full intention to decorate this little attic area, but it's sort of left open for now. Maybe I'll try to add some things before this episode goes out. But I thought this turned out really nice and was a great place for these animals to live. And right next to it, we have a little stables with some horses in it. This one's my guy. Nope, that's not right. This one's my guy. Lots of speed. Not such a great jumper, but in general, pretty good. I've got some flower beds here growing some flowers. I have a little chicken coop over here. If I had been a little more forward thinking, I would have put like some sort of pickup system underneath of this so there weren't a ton of eggs just laying around, but serves its purpose for the chickens. I thought this looked cool over here, adding like a little log pile, sort of that we are piling up some wood that we might need along the farm, which is pretty cool. And then the back of the sign on both entrances. So we got the yard over there, and then we have see you later from the yard. If we keep going up this way, we get a bunch of fields with a ton of crops, wheat and carrots and potatoes and all of that. I thought that looked really great. You'll notice too on the ground that there are areas with moss carpet. So obviously being in the snowy area, something that was incredibly challenging was dealing with the snow. So I had to light up this area pretty well in order to keep snow off the ground. And so I created this system of sea lanterns and moss carpet to create the lighting source around the entire island. And then just the grass and the paths and everything sort of help it blend in a little bit, which is great. Something else that I wanted to make sure I added in this area were custom trees. And so you'll see I have smaller spruce trees. They're not phenomenal. I'm not the best custom tree builder, but they turned out pretty nice. I have 3 sizes here, so I've got the smaller ones, and then I have slightly larger ones underneath, and we've got some podzol that come out from those. Again, I've got another one over here, and then we have the giant ones that appear right here on this side and clear over there, and that's that last one I'm going to go to clear at the end. But oh, this little gazebo here too. Just a little foresty gazebo, got some vines and some leaves and some nice lights and things that you can come in and check out. So we have this huge custom spruce tree that is holding the nether portal. And I thought it looked really cool having the nether portal dangle from one of the branches. I thought that looked really neat and sort of gave a little bit of a purpose to this giant tree, which is great. Continuing along the path here, I decided to put a little pond behind my house, and it was looking a little bit boring. And so I then found some examples online and sort of took and changed some things around and made a little golem out of stone. So he is sort of the guardian of the pond. The axolotls that we found in my very first episode, literally my first couple of hours on the server, are in here. And so we've got Orion, and we've got Aurora, and the brown one here, we've got Scooter. So they've got a nice little place to live in this little pond. They're loving their little lives, and the golem is keeping watch. Continuing right along, we've got the windmill, which I think turned out really great. Now, the only thing I didn't do inside was sort of do anything with the interior. It'd be cool if there was like a staircase or some sort of leveled system all the way up. But for now, it is just the windmill. And I think the windmill itself looks really good. I think it fits really nicely with this sort of farmland area. I really like the sails there that sort of move around. And just like the barn, I wanted to match the aesthetic of the house with this. And so I did a lot of dark oak, a lot of deep slate, the white concrete, and then added some prismarine lights just to give it a little pop of light when you're further away from it. These paths are really nice too. It's a mixture of the dark oak logs with some coarse dirt and brown wool and podzol. And I think it looked really cool. It sort of gives the paths a huge natural feel. Before we go check out this tree, I want to do sort of an aerial view for you of my island so you can sort of see what everything looks like all put together. And then there is one final thing I want to do to add up to the tree up at the top of this hill before we end the episode. And with that, I want to make my way up to this second giant tree to leave my armor and my inventory. As you can see, I've already got some thank yous here. Thank you for supporting AutoCraft Season 4. I appreciate it more than you know. I know I wasn't here very long, but I really, really appreciate your support, and I cannot wait to see what we do in Season 5. Thank you again so much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in Season 5. Bye.